Chinese smartphone company just posted a lap time at the Nürburgring that beat a Porsche Taycan. The car cost $30,000. The Porsche cost $185,000. That's not a concept. That's not a render. It's a production vehicle you can order today. The car is called the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. The company that makes it built its first car 18 months ago. Guinness verified the lap. 7 minutes 38 seconds around the Nordschleife. The Taycan Turbo S did 7 minutes 42 seconds. Xiaomi just humiliated Stuttgart. And the German engineers never saw it coming. If you want to see how entire industries get flipped overnight, hit like and subscribe. We cover the shifts most people miss until it's too late. The founder of Xiaomi started selling rice on the street, and the lap time is only the beginning. To understand what just happened, you need to know what the Nürburgring means. It's called the Green Hell. 73 corners across 13 miles of German asphalt. Every car company on earth uses it to prove their engineering. A fast lap there means more than any marketing claim. Porsche has dominated that track for decades. The Taycan Turbo S was supposed to be untouchable. It's an electric super sedan built by people who've been making sports cars since 1948. And a Chinese phone maker just beat it with a car that costs less than a base Tesla Model 3. The price gap is obscene. The Taycan is $185,000. The SU7 Ultra is $30,000. That's 6 times cheaper, and it's faster. Stuttgart is in shock, because this isn't just about one lap. It's about what happens when an entirely different business model enters your industry. The Xiaomi SU7 Ultra isn't just fast in a straight line. It's fast everywhere. 0 to 60 in 1.97 seconds. That ties the Lucid Air Sapphire. The top speed is 217 miles per hour. The battery is a 150 kilowatt-hour cattle pack. The range is 403 miles on a single charge, and the cooling system is borrowed from Formula E. This is a car designed to humiliate gasoline supercars on a track and then drive home in silence. The power output is 1,548 horsepower. That's more than a Bugatti Veyron. The torque vectoring system adjusts power delivery 1,000 times per second. The aerodynamics generate 4,850 pounds of downforce at top speed. That's why it sticks through the Nürburgring's fastest sections. And it does all of this for the price of a loaded Honda Accord. But here's the strange part. Xiaomi isn't a car company. It's a phone company. Lei Jun founded Xiaomi in 2010 to make cheap Android phones that didn't feel cheap. The strategy worked. Xiaomi became the 3rd largest phone maker on earth. It killed Nokia. It terrified Samsung. And in 2021, Lei Jun decided to do the same thing to the car industry. The announcement was surreal. A phone executive standing on stage saying Xiaomi would build an electric car in 3 years. Analysts laughed. Building a phone and building a car are not the same. A phone has 200 parts. A car has 30,000. The safety standards alone take a decade to master. And Lei Jun had never built anything with wheels. But he had something the Germans didn't. He had no legacy to protect. Xiaomi spent 3 years doing what every car company said was impossible. They built the SU7 from scratch. No joint ventures, no badge engineering, just a vertical integration strategy borrowed from Apple. Xiaomi designed the motors in-house. They designed the battery management system. They designed the software stack that controls everything from the throttle to the ambient lighting. And they did it fast. The first SU7 rolled off the production line in March 2024, 18 months from announcement to delivery. Toyota takes 7 years, Volkswagen takes 8, and Xiaomi did it while building a $3 billion factory in Beijing that can produce 300,000 cars per year. The factory uses the same playbook as the phone business. Automation everywhere, minimal labor, maximum volume. The SU7 comes in 3 versions. The base model costs $30,000 and does 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. The Max version costs $38,000 and does it in 2.8 seconds. And the Ultra, the one that just beat Porsche, costs $42,000 in China. That's the launch price. It's not available in Europe or America yet, but when it arrives, the price will still undercut every premium EV on the market. A Tesla Model S starts at $75,000. The Porsche Taycan starts at $90,000. The Lucid Air starts at $70,000. Xiaomi is selling performance that matches or beats all of them for half the price. And that's before you factor in the technology inside. The SU7 has a heads-up display that spans the entire windshield. The infotainment system is faster than an iPad Pro, and the voice assistant actually works. But the real trick is how they kept the cost down. Xiaomi didn't invent new technology. They took existing technology and made it cheaper. The motors are based on a design used in Formula E. The battery cells come from CATL, the same supplier Tesla uses. The chassis is aluminum, not carbon fiber. And the software runs on a chip architecture Xiaomi already mass produces for phones. This is the Henry Ford model. Take the best ideas, standardize them, manufacture them at scale, and suddenly a luxury product becomes affordable. The Germans build cars like Swiss watches. Every component is bespoke. Every part is engineered to perfection. Xiaomi builds cars like smartphones, modular, scalable, and cheap enough to flood the market. And the market is responding. Xiaomi received 88,000 orders in the first 24 hours. That's more than Porsche sells in an entire year in China. The waiting list is now 6 months long, and the company is already expanding production. By 2025, Xiaomi will build 300,000 SU7s per year. For context, Porsche built 320,000 cars globally last year. Xiaomi is about to match Porsche's entire global output with a single model in a single country. And they're not stopping there. Lei Jun announced 3 more models coming by 2027. An SUV, a compact sedan, and a hypercar that will cost $150,000 and target the Rimac Nevera. The plan is to become the world's 5th largest automaker within a decade. And based on what just happened at the Nürburgring, nobody is laughing anymore. So how does an electric car actually beat a Porsche around the most demanding track on Earth? It starts with weight distribution. The SU7 Ultra has a 48-52 front-to-rear weight balance. That's nearly perfect. The battery sits low in the floor, dropping the center of gravity below the axles. That means less body roll in corners. The car rotates faster, and it stays planted through the Nürburgring's famous carousel turn. The Porsche Taycan has a similar layout, but it weighs 5,200 pounds. The SU7 Ultra weighs 4,900 pounds. 300 pounds matters when you're cornering at 80 miles per hour. And Xiaomi shaved that weight without sacrificing rigidity. The chassis stiffness is 35,000 Newton-meters per degree. That's race car territory. It means the suspension can do its job without the body flexing. Then there's the power delivery. The SU7 Ultra has 3 motors, 1 in the front, 2 in the rear. Each motor can deliver full power independently. That's called tri-motor torque vectoring. When the car enters a corner, the system cuts power to the inside rear wheel and sends it to the outside wheel. That rotates the car around the apex. It's faster than steering, and it happens 1,000 times per second. The Porsche has a similar system, but Xiaomi's version is faster. The response time is 0.002 seconds. That's faster than human reaction time. The driver feels like the car reads their mind, and on a track like the Nürburgring, that millisecond advantage stacks up over 73 corners. 2 seconds here, 3 seconds there. By the end of the lap, it's 4 seconds. That's the gap between the SU7 and the Taycan. The aerodynamics are equally brutal. The SU7 Ultra generates 4,850 pounds of downforce at 186 miles per hour. That's more than a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The front splitter is carbon fiber. The rear diffuser has active flaps that open and close based on speed. At low speeds, the flaps stay closed for efficiency. At high speeds, they open and channel air under the car. That creates a low-pressure zone that sucks the car to the road, and the active rear wing adjusts angle in real time. On the straights, it flattens to reduce drag. In the corners, it tilts to maximum angle for downforce. The system makes 50 adjustments per second, and the driver never touches a button. It's all automated. The car is constantly optimizing itself for the next corner. That's the advantage of software-defined aerodynamics. The Germans still use fixed wings. And then there's the cooling. High-performance EVs have a heat problem. When you push 1,048 horsepower through electric motors for 7 minutes straight, things get hot. The battery heats up, the motors heat up, the inverters heat up, and if the temperature climbs too high, the system throttles power to prevent damage. That's called thermal limiting. It's why most EVs can't do multiple fast laps. They overheat after one. The SU7 Ultra doesn't. Xiaomi used a dual-loop cooling system borrowed from Formula E. One loop cools the battery, another loop cools the motors and inverters, and both loops feed into a massive front-mounted radiator. The coolant is a synthetic oil that can handle temperatures up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That's twice what normal coolant can take. The result is consistent power for an entire Nürburgring lap. No thermal limiting, no power drop. This is why the SU7 Ultra beat the Taycan. It's not one thing, it's 100 small advantages that stack. Better weight distribution, faster torque vectoring, more downforce, better cooling, and all of it controlled by software that's updating in real time. Porsche builds cars the old way. They engineer a platform, they lock the design, and then they manufacture it for 5 years without major changes. Xiaomi builds cars like Tesla. The hardware is a platform for software, and the software updates over the air. The SU7 that beat Porsche last month will be faster next month, because Xiaomi will push a software update that improves the torque vectoring algorithm, or tweaks the aerodynamics, or optimizes the cooling strategy. The car gets better while you own it. That's the difference between a tech company making cars and a car company using tech. Lei Jun didn't start as a tech billionaire. He grew up in a farming village in Hubei province. His family was poor. There was no electricity, no running water, and definitely no cars. Lei Jun's first exposure to technology was a Commodore 64 computer in high school. He taught himself to code, and he got obsessed. In college, he wrote a book on software engineering that became required reading at Chinese universities. He was 22 years old. After graduation, he co-founded Kingsoft, a software company that competed with Microsoft in China. The company went public. Lei Jun became wealthy, but he wasn't satisfied. He wanted to do what Steve Jobs did: take technology and make it beautiful, make it accessible, and disrupt an industry that thought it was untouchable. In 2010, Lei Jun founded Xiaomi with $3,000 in personal savings. The idea was simple: build Android phones that felt like iPhones but cost a fraction of the price. The first Xiaomi phone launched at $250. The iPhone 4 cost $600. And the Xiaomi phone had better specs: more RAM, bigger screen, faster processor. Within 3 years, Xiaomi became the top smartphone brand in China. It destroyed Nokia, it terrified Samsung, and Apple started losing market share. Lei Jun called it the Apple of China, but the real model was Amazon. Sell hardware at cost, make money on services and ecosystem, and scale faster than anyone thought possible. By 2021, Xiaomi was the third largest phone maker on Earth, and Lei Jun was worth $25 billion. He could have retired. Instead, he decided to take on the car industry. The car industry said it was impossible. Building phones and building cars are different. Phones don't carry people at 80 miles per hour. Cars have safety regulations, crash tests, emission standards, and decades of institutional knowledge that can't be learned overnight. The established automakers have engineering departments older than Lei Jun. They have relationships with suppliers, they have dealer networks, and they have brand loyalty that took generations to build. Xiaomi had none of that. What they did have was a playbook, vertical integration, software-first design, direct-to-consumer sales, and a willingness to lose money in the early years to capture market share. That's how Amazon killed bookstores. That's how Netflix killed Blockbuster. And that's how Xiaomi plans to kill the traditional car business. The Germans are watching, and they're starting to panic. Xiaomi didn't just copy Tesla. They studied what Tesla did wrong. Tesla spent years building its own charging network. Xiaomi isn't doing that. They're partnering with existing networks in China. Tesla built massive factories that take years to pay off. Xiaomi's factory in Beijing cost $3 billion. That's cheap. Tesla's Gigafactory in Texas cost $10 billion. And Tesla sells cars through a direct model that requires enormous capital. Xiaomi is doing the same thing, but they're using their existing retail infrastructure. Xiaomi already has 10,000 stores in China selling phones. Now those stores sell cars. The customer walks in, they configure a car on a tablet, and it gets delivered to their home in 6 weeks. No dealership, no negotiation, no markup. It's the Apple Store model applied to cars. And it's working. And now the price gap is forcing Porsche to respond. In October 2024, Porsche announced a 30% price cut on the Taycan in China. The base model now starts at $63,000. That's down from $90,000. It's the largest price cut in Porsche's history. And it's not enough. The Xiaomi SU7 still costs half as much. And it's faster. Porsche is also cutting production. The Taycan factory in Stuttgart is running at 60% capacity. They're laying off contract workers, and they're delaying the next generation model. That's the sign of a company in retreat. Porsche isn't the only one. Mercedes-Benz cut prices on the EQS sedan. BMW cut prices on the i4. Audi is pulling the e-tron out of China entirely. The German giants are being forced to choose: cut prices and destroy margins, or lose market share and concede China. The problem for the Germans is structural. They can't compete on price because their cost base is too high. A Porsche engineer in Stuttgart makes $120,000 per year. A Xiaomi engineer in Beijing makes $40,000. The German factories are unionized. Layoffs require months of negotiation. Xiaomi's factory is automated. They can scale up or down in weeks. And the German brands are premium. Their entire identity is built on heritage and exclusivity. You buy a Porsche because it's a Porsche. But what happens when a $30,000 car is faster than a $185,000 Porsche? The brand stops meaning what it used to mean. That's the crisis. It's not just about one car. It's about the collapse of the value proposition. If Chinese EVs can match or beat German performance at a fraction of the price, what is the customer paying for? A badge. And that's not enough anymore. China is now the world's largest car market. It's also the largest EV market. In 2024, China will sell 10 million electric cars. Europe will sell 3 million. America will sell 1.5 million. The scale gap is enormous. And scale drives costs down. The more cars you build, the cheaper each one gets. Xiaomi is building 300,000 cars next year. BYD is building 3 million. Tesla is building 2 million, and all the German brands combined are building fewer than 500,000 EVs. The Chinese companies are learning faster, iterating faster, and getting cheaper faster. Meanwhile, the Germans are stuck protecting their legacy business. They still make most of their profit from gasoline engines, and every EV they sell cannibalizes a gasoline car. It's the innovator's dilemma. They can't move fast because they're afraid of destroying what they have. Xiaomi has no legacy, nothing to protect, and that's the advantage. And the technology gap is widening. Chinese EV batteries now last 1 million miles. CATL just announced a battery with a 15-minute charge time that gives 400 miles of range. That's faster than filling a gas tank. The Germans are still using batteries from LG and Samsung. Those batteries charge in 30 minutes and last 300,000 miles. The gap is 5 years. And it's growing. Chinese companies are also leading in autonomous driving. Xiaomi's SU7 has level 3 autonomy. It can drive itself on highways with no human input. The driver can watch a movie. That's legal in China. It's not legal in Europe. Porsche's Taycan has level 2. The driver has to keep their hands on the wheel. The technology gap is turning into a feature gap. And the features Chinese customers expect are becoming global expectations. The Germans are being left behind in their own industry. So what happens next? Xiaomi isn't stopping at one model. The SU7 Ultra is the halo car. It's the proof of concept, the statement. But the real money is in volume. And the volume model is coming. It's called the SU7 Standard. It will cost $24,000. It will do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. and it will have 350 miles of range. That's the car that threatens Toyota and Honda, not Porsche. The SU7 Standard is designed to be the best-selling EV in the world. Xiaomi is aiming for 1 million units per year by 2027. For context, the Toyota Camry sells 700,000 units per year globally. If Xiaomi hits their target, the SU7 will be the new Camry, the default middle-class car, and it will be electric, and it will be Chinese. That's the future every Western automaker is trying to avoid, and they're running out of time. The European Union sees what's coming. In October 2024, they announced tariffs on Chinese EVs, up to 45% on some models. The goal is to protect European car makers. But tariffs won't stop this. They'll just make Chinese cars more expensive in Europe for a few years. Meanwhile, Chinese companies are building factories in Europe to get around the tariffs. BYD is building a plant in Hungary. Geely owns Volvo and Polestar. And Xiaomi is already in talks to build a factory in Poland. The Chinese aren't being locked out. They're moving in. And once they have local production, the tariffs won't matter. The cost advantage is too large. Even with a 45% tariff, a $30,000 Xiaomi SU7 is still cheaper than a $90,000 Porsche Taycan. The math doesn't work for the Europeans, and the Chinese know it. The American market is the last frontier. Chinese EVs aren't in America yet. The Biden administration banned them. The official reason is national security. The real reason is Detroit can't compete. But the ban won't hold forever. At some point, American consumers will ask why they're paying $75,000 for a Tesla when a $30,000 Xiaomi does the same thing. And the pressure will build. It's already starting. American car dealers are lobbying to allow Chinese imports. They want the inventory, and they want the margins. A $30,000 car with a $5,000 markup is better than a $75,000 car nobody buys. The ban will crack. It's just a matter of time. And when it does, the American auto industry will face the same crisis as the Europeans. They'll have to choose, compete on price, or lose the market. The farmer's son who sold rice on the street just built a car that beat Porsche at the Nürburgring. He did it for a fraction of the cost, and he's not slowing down. Xiaomi is already working on the next model, a car that will cost less and go faster. The SU7 isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning, and every legacy automaker on Earth now has to answer the same question. How do you compete with a company that can build a faster car for 6 times less money? Porsche doesn't have an answer yet. Neither does Mercedes. Neither does BMW. They're all cutting prices and hoping the problem goes away. But it won't, because the problem isn't one car. The problem is a completely different business model. And business models don't compete on marketing. They compete on math. And the math says the Germans are in trouble. The future of driving wasn't decided in Stuttgart. It wasn't decided in Detroit. It was decided in Beijing. And the decision is already made. Electric, affordable, and Chinese. That's where the industry is going. The only question is how fast. Xiaomi proved that a phone company can build a car faster than Porsche. And they proved that a $30,000 car can beat a $185,000 car. Those are facts now, not predictions, facts. And once something becomes a fact, it changes everything. The legacy automakers spent a century building an industry around scarcity and brand. Xiaomi is building an industry around abundance and math. And abundance always wins. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The next story out of China will make this look small. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me in the comments, would you buy a $30,000 car that beats a Porsche? I read every single one.